All right, if you're involved with a school in any way, you definitely know the drill, right? The bake sales, the fun runs, the constant need to raise funds. But what if you could hit all your goals without having to ask the same parents for money over and over again? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a new approach that could completely change the game for your school.
So let me ask you a question, and be honest. Does this sound familiar? That endless cycle of fundraisers and donation requests. It feels like you're going back to the same well again and again, doesn't it? And that repetition, it creates a very real problem.
It even has a name, fundraising fatigue. It's that point where enthusiasm just fizzles out and turns into a feeling of obligation. And that's when participation really starts to drop. This right here, this is the villain of our story today, and we're going to talk about how to defeat it.
Okay, let's dive into this fatigue problem a little deeper. Because to find a better solution, we first have to get real about why the old ways just aren't cutting it anymore.
So the old way of doing things, it has some pretty big flaws. I mean, think about it. It puts all the pressure on the same handful of families every single time. It usually asks for cash right then and there, and honestly, it can make people feel pretty guilty if they can't chip in. It's a model that's just, well, it's broken. It's not sustainable.
But here's the real game changer. The solution isn't about finding a sneakier way to ask for money. No, it's about a fundamental shift in how we think about fundraising in the first place. This right here is the big aha moment.
This is it. This is the core shift. The old model is always asking who can pay, but the new model asks a totally different question. Who can participate? And that one single change in perspective, wow, it opens up a whole world of possibilities that don't involve pressuring the same parents.
So what does that actually look like? Well, by taking things digital, you instantly blow the doors off your potential network. Suddenly, it's not just about mom and dad anymore. Now we're talking about grandparents, aunts, uncles, family friends, and even people in the local community who just want to support the school. All right, our first strategy completely reframes the whole process. Get this. Instead of asking for money, you create an opportunity to celebrate. It's way more positive, super engaging, and believe me, it's incredibly effective.
The idea is actually really simple. You just tap into the celebrations that are already happening in people's lives. I mean, people are celebrating birthdays and anniversaries all the time, right? This strategy just gives them a way to channel all that amazing positive energy toward a cause they really care about, your school. Let me walk you through it. Say a family creates a simple celebration page for their kid's birthday. Then, they just share that page with their whole network. And instead of bringing traditional gifts, friends and family can chip into a bigger school project, like a brand new library or playground equipment. It literally turns a personal party into a huge community gift.
And that is the magic of it right there. Parents aren't being asked to dig deeper into their own pockets. Instead, they're becoming ambassadors for the school, activating their entire social network to pitch in. The number of donors just explodes.
Okay, on to our second strategy. This one is all about shifting the focus from just asking for donations to actually offering real value. It's about giving people something genuinely cool in return for their support.
I absolutely love this quote from the source material because it's so true. When you offer real value, participation stops feeling like an obligation and starts feeling like an opportunity. People actually get excited to be a part of it because they get something truly meaningful back. And we're not talking about cheap plastic toys here. We're talking about high-value, really exciting stuff. Just imagine a prize campaign where a student could win a spot in a coding class, or a music lesson with a real pro, or maybe a super unique experience like being principal for the day. These are the kinds of things that create genuine excitement and really drive people to participate. And for our third and final strategy, we're going to tackle a problem that's often overlooked, the huge administrative burden that falls on teachers and volunteers. The answer? Smarter systems.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? The old way is a total logistical nightmare. You've got teachers trying to handle cash envelopes, volunteers wrestling with paper spreadsheets. It's a mess. But digital platforms, they automate pretty much everything. Payments, tracking, communication, it all happens in one simple centralized spot. So much easier.
And here's the bottom line on that. Making it easy for your organizers is just as important as making it easy for your donors. When you get rid of all that administrative friction, you free up your team to run more creative and effective campaigns. And that, in turn, directly boosts participation and the final results. It's a win-win.
So let's bring this all home.
When you start focusing on participation instead of just payment, when you celebrate milestones, offer real value, and use smart digital tools, you achieve something really powerful. You don't just raise the money your school needs, you end up building a stronger, more connected, and more engaged community in the process.
And that's the final thought I really want to leave you with. Just for a second, think beyond the usual parents. Think about the grandparents, the alumni, the local businesses, the whole community. What could your school really accomplish if you invited every single one of them to be a part of it? The potential is just enormous.